Your brother has a family to think about, Tom. You're doing fine on your own. You're at the bottom of the list for a reason. My father didn't even look up from his plate when he said it. He said it with the same casual authority he used to check the oil in his truck. Logical. Final. My brother, Sam, just smirked, leaning back in his chair with that golden boy glow he'd perfected over 30 years. My mom just hovered, nodding in agreement as she topped off Sam's glass. I wasn't a person at that table. I was an insurance policy. In that moment, the heat that usually stayed trapped in my chest went stone cold. I didn't argue. I didn't defend my career or the 80-hour weeks I'd put in to build my life. I just pushed my chair back, looked my father in the eye, and said, "Thanks for the clarity." Because in my head, I was already calculating the cost of their collapse. If you've ever been that a successful child whose only reward is being expected to pay for everyone else's mistakes, this one is for you. I'm Tom, and today I'm going to show you what happens when the family workhorse finally decides to burn the stable down. Hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, when did you realize your family only loved what you could do, not who you are? I grew up in a blue-collar neighborhood where strength was the only currency. But in my house, strength was a trap. My brother Sam was the sensitive one. The dreamer. Every time Sam failed, and he failed a lot, it was a tragedy that required a family meeting. When Sam crashed his car, Dad bought him a new one. When Sam dropped out of college, Mom paid his rent for a year so he could find himself. Me. I was the machine. I worked construction in the summers to pay for my own degree. I moved to Chicago, climbed the corporate ladder in logistics, and started my own firm. My parents didn't celebrate my promotions, they used them as benchmarks for how much I should be able to help Sam. "Tom, you're making 6 figures now," my dad would say. "You don't need that old savings account. Your brother's business idea needs a boost." I was loved, in theory. I was the son they bragged about to the neighbors, but the son they ignored at Christmas. I was the one who took the photos, the one who drove the 3 hours to help Dad move furniture while Sam was too stressed to show up. I was independent because I had to be. I was fine because no one was coming to save me if I wasn't. But that dinner? That was the day I realized they didn't just expect me to be fine, they required me to be last so Sam could stay first. After that, bottom of the list, dinner, I went back to Chicago. But I didn't go back to the status quo. The requests didn't stop, of course. My phone buzzed 2 weeks later. A text from Sam, "Hey bro, rent is due and the freelance gig fell through. Can you cover the $1,200? I'll get you back when the big project lands." Usually, I'd sigh, lecture him for 10 minutes, and send the money. It was easier than hearing my mom cry about Sam being homeless. This time, I deleted the text. An hour later, my dad called. "Tom, your brother said you aren't answering. Don't be petty about what I said at dinner. He needs you." "He needs a job, Dad," I said. "And I'm busy." The silence on the line was thick with confusion. I was breaking the script. I was the reliable one. Machines don't have moods. They just work. I started auditing the family tax. I realized I was paying for the family's shared storage unit. Account closed. I was the one paying for the premium cable package at my parents' house because it's easier for you to handle. Cancelled. I wasn't being cruel. I was just becoming the independent son they always told me I was. 3 months later, the house of cards finally folded. It wasn't just Sam's rent this time. It was the big project. Sam had convinced my parents to leverage their home equity to fund his startup, a tech service business that had more ego than actual clients. The call didn't come from my dad this time. It was my mom, her voice shaking. "Tom, the bank sent a notice. Sam's accounts are frozen. We're going to lose the house." We need a significant amount. Only you can do this, Tom. I flew home. Not as a savior, but as an auditor. When I walked into their living room, it smelled like desperation and stale coffee. Sam was pacing, looking like a caged animal. My dad was sitting in his recliner, staring at the wall, his pride finally shattered. We need $80,000, Sam said, without even saying hello. If we don't get it by Friday, the foreclosure starts. I sat down, opened my laptop, and looked at them. And why is this my problem? I asked. My dad's head snapped up. How can you even ask that? We're your parents. He's your brother. And I'm the one at the bottom of the list, I reminded him. The one who is doing fine. If I'm last, that means my priorities come first. My mortgage, my retirement, my peace of mind. Why should I sacrifice my first-place life for your last-place decisions? I didn't give them a check. I gave them a contract. I've spent my life being your safety net, I said, sliding a thick legal folder onto the coffee table. If I put $80,000 into this family, I'm not helping. I'm taking over. Sam reached for it, but I swiped it back. Read it first. These are the terms. 1. The house goes into my name. You can live there, but you're tenants. You pay me rent in the form of maintenance and taxes. 2. Sam, you're done being an entrepreneur. You're going to work for a local landscaping crew I've already contacted. They need a laborer. You'll start Monday. 3. Every cent of your spending is tracked through an app one have access to. 4. Dad, you're selling the boat. Today. You're humiliating us, my dad whispered. No, I said, standing up. I'm treating you with the same cold logic you used on me. You told me I was last. This is what it looks like when the person at the bottom stops holding the weight. Sign the papers, or call the bank. You have until sunset. The look on Sam's face was pure venom. He'd lived his whole life thinking my success was his backup plan. Watching that reality dissolve was the most satisfying moment of my life. They signed. They didn't have a choice. The golden boy is currently digging trenches for a living. My parents are living in my house, and for the first time in 30 years, they're careful about how they talk to me. Not because they've suddenly found their love for me, but because they've finally realized that that machine has a kill switch. The biggest change, though. It wasn't the money or the house. It was the weight. I don't go home for holidays to fix things anymore. I go home to check my investment. I don't feel guilty for being successful, and I don't feel responsible for people who refuse to work as hard as I do. I used to think being the strong son meant carrying everyone. I was wrong. Being a strong man means knowing exactly when to let go so the people behind you can finally learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. If you're the Tom of your family, the one everyone calls when the car breaks down but forgets to call for dinner, this is your sign. Stop being a bridge for people who wouldn't even walk a mile for you. How did you finally set boundaries with your family? Was it a clean break or a takeover like mine? Let me know in the comments. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the payback, and subscribe for more stories about justice being served. I'm Tom. Choose yourself first, because no one else is going to do it for you. See you in the next one.